Hi everybody, and I just wanted to put together a short little video because we've got just an incredible week shaping up for the weekly options, and I wanted to make sure that you're all aware of it so you can watch it. Those of you that like to trade these things, that you understand some of the things going on so you can take advantage of that. So without delay, let's jump right to things. And first thing I want to show you is the news here. So I'm going to Forex Factory, great place to get an economic calendar. They also have these at Yahoo. Most brokers have them as well. I just like this one. It's color coded and makes it easy for me. Not a whole lot going on here. You see, today is Tuesday. We had the consumer confidence come out. It was up, but the market's just sitting and waiting for a couple of things. Now, here's where it gets exciting. So let me get my pen turned on here, and let's point out a couple of very important things. First of all, Wednesday, tomorrow morning, before the market opens, 8:15 a.m. Eastern Time, you're going to get the ADP non-farm payroll or employment change. Now, this isn't the non-farm payrolls. That's right down here on Friday. But I always find that this kind of gives me a little bit of an insight to what to expect on Friday when the non-farm payrolls comes out. So pay particular attention to that and how it impacts the market on the open. Now, the other big thing Wednesday happens later in the day at 2:15 p.m. Eastern Time, and that's when the Federal Open Market Committee, Ben Bernanke and his team at the Federal Reserve, make their statement after 2 days of meetings. They're meeting today and they're meeting tomorrow, and then they make a statement. Now, this statement is when they would announce uh, possibly QE3 or just an extension of their stimulus programs that are currently going right now, and also their stance for interest rates and their view of the economy. Now, let's just assume that they're probably going to say that it's weakening, and that might be motivation for them to change their stance on, say, interest rates, or say that we're going to keep them low through next year, so they extend it, give it a much bigger window. Those are some of the possible things going to happen, but this is an event that can really move the market. Now, Thursday, you've got, again, not a real huge day, but by Thursday at the close is when you'd have to be in a position to benefit from Friday's non-farm payrolls report. Now, that's a huge deal. Also, on Wednesday, I deleted this, but on Wednesday, the European Central Bank, that's the Euros version of the Fed, they have a press release, or they're making a statement midday on Wednesday as well. So actually it'd be in the morning because of the time difference there. So this could make Wednesday really wild day with that and the FOMC statement. Chances are, I think what you're going to see is these two working together a little bit, because the ECB chairman said he's going to do anything he needs to do to strengthen and resolve the debt issues in Europe. So you've got a big Wednesday, you've got a big Friday. Now let's take a look at some of the things we could potentially trade on those known news announcements. So let's go back and just open up a brokerage firm page, and I'm going to just make that a little bigger so that we got full use of the screen here. All right. Now, the things that we want to focus on, again, I'll just give you a few and I'll just write them on the screen for you. The things I like to trade in these things: VXX. If there's a change in volatility, if volatility rises, that would be something that you could trade call options. The other things that are easy to trade and inexpensive is SPY, and that's where you could do the straddles or strangles, not for non-directional, play puts or calls for a directional trade. Another one to kind of keep an eye on is FAS, and that's FAS, and its counterpart is FAZ or Z, depending on where you live in the world. And those things would be the financial sector. So financial, that's the banking stocks and the like. and that is a 3x ETF. So lots of movement there. Now they're expensive, so you may, again, we're expecting big moves. So when you play the straddles and strangles or directional trades, you can go a little farther. We call that out of the money. So those are the kind of things we're looking for on those. Now let's just take a look at a couple so you can kind of see how this shapes up as we look at this. First, I'm just going to go to trading. I'm going to bring up the options. Let's see, I need to turn off my pointer. And we'll bring up the options, and there's FAZ, a little cheaper than FAS and doesn't move quite as fast. We'll be looking at the August options. And again, this is a potential trade for the jobs report as well as the FOMC statement. So you might be able to get into this Wednesday. Again, this is really important. I'll write it on the screen so you see it. If you want to trade on the FOMC meeting, you've got till 2:15 Eastern time, Eastern Daylight Time. That's when you've got to be in. Now I wouldn't push it right to the last minute, so you might be looking at somewhere late morning, depending on where you live. If in the U.S., most of you live in the U.S., but sometime in the middle of the day before that news comes out is really key. So that's Wednesday. For the jobs report, so if you're trading the jobs report, you want to be in Thursday, and it's before the close. So Thursday before the close to play the jobs report, Wednesday before midday for the FOMC, and again we've got the ECB. And so I'd be watching tomorrow the news very closely for those two central bank announcements. Obviously, lots depending on that, lots of eyeballs watching it. So again, just to set up the trades, if you're looking at it, if something like the FAZ, when it stocks, there it is, right exactly at the strike price, so you can set these things up to show you when it's at, we do a straddle. When it's in between, we do the strangle. So again, I encourage you, because this is a really volatile potential week, to, even if you're not trading live, that's okay. We want to do these so you're learning. And so do these in a virtual account. That's what I'm doing right here. And you can see we go to the 22s. And for that, it's cost me $1. I'll bet I could pick that up for $1.50 in my live account. But if I'm just doing that in a virtual account, I just want to get in. So I buy that. I'll do 10 contracts, and let's confirm that and send it in. Okay, so I'm in this a day early just so you see the way you actually place that trade. Let's go look at some of the others. Now, specifically, a wild mover is FAS because it's a 3-time ETF. We're near a strike price of the 90s. But when I do these, because it's so expensive, look how much more expensive this is than that last one, $1.50 for 10 contracts. This would be over $4,000. So what I like to do is use the strangle strategy, which means spread it out a little bit. And let's look at one that has 5 strike prices in between the two options that you're using. So we're at 89. So I kind of go in the middle, and let's say right there I go 87 and 92. And that would be, I can go further away if I want, but that's a way I can do that. I'll just put one of those in there so we can watch that. I would do this particular trade, I wouldn't do until either tomorrow, Wednesday afternoon, but I'm just doing it now so you see it demonstrated. So again, we got that, there we are. The other one that's interesting is VXX, and that's the volatility index. Been creeping up a little bit after dropping a lot. I suspect with the announcements the last couple weeks, there's the potential there for a real big spike. But notice that, or keep in mind that when this thing spikes, it usually spikes very quickly and then quickly retreats over the following several days. So if you're looking at this, rather than playing straddles and strangles, I think it's a very difficult one to play straddles and strangles on. I would just be looking for volatility to increase as a result of those news announcements. That means you would look at calls, so $14 calls, only a $26 option. So if you want to take a position in those, it's pretty cheap, $260. It'll be cheaper again tomorrow at midday. and you could do this one again before the jobs report. So there we go with and then once we get the news out, what you look for in this particular one is when the news comes out. This is a stock that, again, the volatility can spike, but then it kind of peaks and you'll start seeing it decline, sometimes very rapidly. So here's where, when it's going up like this, that's when you like to be in the calls. And then once it stalls, that's where you look at the puts. And you could potentially do both of those in a single day this week, Wednesday or Friday. Again, so this would be one you'd get in before the jobs report because that can move the market dramatically and increase volatility. So by Thursday's close or Wednesday, if you're trading on the ECB and FOMC announcements, to get in Wednesday morning. So anyway, there's a couple ideas for you to keep an eye on. Those are stocks that are going to go crazy. Just another one to look at. I won't go through the details because I don't want to make this too long. Would be the interest rate ETF. That's LTL, and you can watch that one as well, as it could react if there's a change in posture by the FOMC or ECB relative to interest rates. So there's a couple ideas, a couple trading ideas for you to keep an eye on. I really want you to watch this. This is the last little part of our course, is really focusing on some of the weekly option strategies. This is one of the biggest weeks that we'll see in terms of potential. It doesn't mean it will happen. It's moved good the last couple times. But we've also seen it where it didn't move at all. But we know when it's coming. That's the advantage that we have here that we're trying to use to our benefit. So again, there's a couple ideas. I'll be sending out an invite for Thursday's meeting. We have a chance to see some of these things, but I wanted to give you an alert ahead of time so you can put some of these in your paper trade account. Keep an eye on them for our lessons this week. So have a great week trading. We'll see you on Thursday. And happy trades. Hope it all works out and we get some fireworks this week. So we'll see you in a couple days.